Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Australia's Tabletop Wargaming Network. As per usual, I'm ScottyD, and tonight we are joined by Jack. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, going well, thanks. And we've got Dom joining us. What's happening, brother?
Good evening, Scotty. How are we?
Yeah, doing well, brother. Doing well. So tonight we have got the tournament preview stream for Exterminatus VII, which is happening this weekend down in Wagga Wagga, New South Wales. Just Petter, thank you so much for the follow to the Australia's Tabletop Wargaming Network. Great to have you joining us. Welcome into everyone in chat. We have Darren and Sinner live. How you guys doing? Welcome in, welcome in. If you're not familiar with our tournament previews, we do these live the Monday before a tournament that we cover here on the network. So this weekend, Jack is going to be traveling down to the event, and we've got a second commentator lined up to be joining him as well that we'll be revealing on the weekend. So it's going to be awesome to be able to cover Exterminatus again on the network. It's one of the events that I always love to cover, but unfortunately I've got one of my best mates' weddings on Friday, so I'm going to be on the other side of the state. So pretty much, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can always find us live over on Twitch currently, where we're doing these before the event, as well as tournament coverage and such as well. But we have the chat interacting with us. We have Marcus Rominus in here. Rominus, I believe is how you pronounce that, and Provo Custos as well. Great to see you guys in chat. So pretty much, we're going to do a bit of a run through of tournament format, meta, various things, missions as well. Look at a couple of lists from both local players from the Wagga scene, as well as some notable players in attendance from whether it's here in the ACT or in New South Wales as well. So to give a bit of a run through, we'll also have this up on YouTube later on this week before the event. So in case you do miss it on the live stream, you're able to catch up there. Or if you miss any parts, you have to go to bed early or things like that, catch it there as well. But yeah, Jack, you're up with the next question, brother.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll start it off. It's obviously interesting to meet you, Dom, because Scotty's obviously covered Exterminatus a fair bit. I actually haven't been able to get to Exterminatus before, so why don't we kick this off? Just a bit of a classic. Who are you in terms of Warhammer? What do you do? Like, what armies do you play? Where do you fit in? What's your local stuff? Other than Exterminatus, of course.
Yeah. Well, I won't hold you not coming to an Exterminatus before or against you. But hi everyone. So I'm Dominic. So been in the hobby now since I was probably about 10 years old, so going on 18, 19 years now. Always been an avid guard player, but with forays into different things, a lot of different things, AdMech, Marines, Chaos Knights, etc. And Exterminatus, it pretty much came about. So I moved up to Townsville for a while and still had a lot of mates in Wagga and the Riverina area. And we didn't really have an event there. So it was just me getting together with 12 mates at the start and having a one-day tournament. And now it's evolved into the two-day charity fundraiser event that it is now, and we're looking at, I think, 54 players at the moment. Yeah.
Huge numbers.
Yeah.
That's really, really good.
Yeah, it's such a great vibe whenever I've been at Exterminatus as well. Jack, I reckon you're going to love it. Like, the Wagga guys are just awesome.
I went down there years ago for, like, I don't think it was Exterminatus, but there was some other tournament down there in early 8th edition, and it's a really good vibe. It's very different to everything you get, obviously, in your more, like, major city areas and stuff.
Yeah.
So
100%.
what we try to focus on at Exterminatus is we want to include all aspects of the hobby, essentially, when it comes to the tournament itself. So we want to cater for everyone. So it includes like the ITC players that want to come, get their points, do as well as they can. But we also really encourage the painting side. We have 2 painting awards being the player's choice, and also me and the TO team will do our own judging on that on a painting rubric. And then our biggest prize overall is the sportsmanship award. Like, we just really want to encourage that aspect, and we really look for like the veteran players like yourself, Jack and Scotty, like you sort of players that will help out the players that like maybe more of a casual sort of sense, or just getting into the hobby or coming back. Like that's what we're looking for, and we just want to all bring it all together.
Yeah, nice.
It's a really good point, because one of the things that we've been discussing a fair bit is when you're an old guard competitive player, obviously, even at the start of new editions and things, it's all about making sure that you still help the people that are getting into it and know what you're getting into, because there's a time for being your big ITC self, and there's a time for just going, hey, let's still have some fun. So I love whenever I see sportsmanship up there as a major award, because it's an often relegated part of the community and part of what we want out of wargaming tournaments.
100%. And I mean, there's been a lot of, at least within the past 24 to 40 hours, not sure what you guys have seen going around, but I know out of the UK, there's been a bunch of things flown around in terms of sportsmanship and how to handle that with various notable names within the community. And so, yeah, it's definitely becoming more and more prominent to how to behave and how to handle yourself as a player in a sportsman or sportswoman like manner as well on the tables.
On that note, I will be releasing my PDF document shortly on how to not yell at your opponent when they have 3 Wraith Knights. So anyone interested, chuck me a PM. Might be relevant coming up. We don't know.
Yeah. Alrighty. So next up, we've said that Dom, you said that Exterminatus is a charity tournament. So why don't you tell us a bit about the charity raffle that you guys are running? What have you guys got up on offer? If people within Australia want to get involved to support what you guys are doing, what's the funds going towards? And yeah, how can they get in touch to grab tickets?
Yeah, so this year we're raising money for the Wagga Wagga Defence Men's Shed. Really good, little, relatively unknown part of our community in Wagga. And yeah, they provide activities and support for servicemen and women, ex-servicemen and women, emergency first responders and their families, just to get together and, like usual, fight that black dog away that is always in the background. And yeah, we, like previous years with Murrumbidgee Men's Group, we want to raise money for them, pretty much help them out where we can. And, like, we're getting together with our mates, having some fun, like, let's chuck in a couple of bucks there. And if everyone does that, like with the Murrumbidgee Men's Group, we're getting $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. And it might seem like a small amount compared to like other big charity organizations, but it really, really does help. And yeah, so each year for the past, I think, 5 events, we've paid it up armies, whether that be myself, a member of the community, or a member of my Exterminatus committee. And this year we've had Richard King put in a fair bit of effort, and he's done up a thematic Orc Knights army. So you could play them as Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, but with that Orky theme to it.
Nice.
And then for the secondary awards, we've got the Gene Stealer Cult Kill Team.
Oh, I think we've just lost. Yep, we gotcha. I think.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've lost Dom for a second there.
Yeah, the magical hamster Wi-Fi ball has failed us.
Yes. So whilst we look to get Dom back, ladies and gentlemen, so Exterminatus is a really great fundraiser tournament for the local community down in the Riverina. As Dom has said, they've done a massive amount of work in terms of the impact in helping the Murrumbidgee Men's Group previously, so it's great to see them choosing to support another community group as well. I've had a look at the miniatures. If you are on Facebook, search up Exterminatus VII on Facebook. I think it's called the Bog Awakens from memory. And so you can see the photos of what's up for being raffled off there as well. Dom, you back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Gotcha, brother. Gotcha.
Thank God.
It's
I
all
just need to
good.
give the hamster a boot up the bum. Get the internet spinning again.
Yeah, for sure. So you were just talking about what the other prizes were that you had on offer for the raffle.
Where'd you get up to?
The Gene Stealer Cult Kill Team.
Sweet. Yep. So Gene Stealer Cult Kill Team done up by Todd. Then we got the Necron Kill Team done up by young Isaac, and they're looking pretty fresh as well. And then because I had my firstborn child come into the world a week ago, I was unable to get the Necron starter army completed. So instead, we subbed that out, and I've put forward a brand spanking new Modifex airbrush with air compressor, cleaning kit, all the bells and whistles for it. So I think in total, the kit itself is like $350. So
Yeah, wow.
another good price. Yeah.
100%. And I like how you guys cater as well. Like, you don't just do like 2,000 point armies, you do the smaller ways. Like, you got the kill teams in there as well. And also, I do like even though it sucks to not be able to get the Necron starter army done, but it's great to have the hobby inclusion in there as well as a potential prize, just for maybe someone who doesn't necessarily want to go and get an army, and you know, maybe they're like, oh, I've already got too much stuff. An airbrush, everyone can use an airbrush, to be honest, and have it in their hobby arsenal. So definitely a worthwhile prize in there as well. So how much are tickets, and where can they get them?
Yep. So tickets will be $10 each, and you can either send me a PM, and we'll sort that out, because once again, we've been too lazy to actually set up a GoFundMe. Well, we say too lazy. I actually don't have the knowledge, don't know how to do it. So
That's
it's just fling me a PM. We'll work it out from there, and I'll send you a picture of your tickets for verification, so you know which numbers you're looking for and everything. Or on the day, on the 1st and 2nd of July, you could come down to the Rules Club, and we'll have heaps of tickets there available for purchase.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Keen to see it kick off. Moving on to the 1st and 2nd, obviously, we'll have a bit of a chat about the tournament itself. Obviously, including things like the amount of players, I think you mentioned before, was 54
Yeah.
from
50.
current kickoff. What missions we're playing, obviously what edition we're playing, and we'll get into that ever so slightly, but and yeah, like obviously any major players you know are attending, any locals that you want to keep an eye on, or just your thoughts on what's currently on display.
Yep, so we got the 54 players, and I would say it's a little bit, just looking at it from a sort of inside perspective, I guess you could say, I'd say it's a little bit more of an open field this year. I'm actually very excited to see the results and such. And I actually got in trouble on last stream for calling out some of the local players. They reckon I put a target on their back for the weekend. But I do think some of the locals and even some members of my committee that are playing as well, I reckon keep a close eye on some of them. So we got, well, we're going to be talking about his list later, Adrian and his custodies. Who else we got? Mr. Keith Beard's been looking a bit fresh with his Tyranids, just in the local scene. He'll back himself as well, I'm sure. Well, so we've always got the rat himself, Mr. Liam Pendergast. He always puts in a good showing as well, with his notorious handing me a score sheet of 103 points. So it's hard to beat that.
103 out of 100. Love it.
Yeah, we love the rat, and that's exactly what.
Yeah.
But in terms of mission, so you actually put me on the spot for that one. I had to quickly get up the mission pack so I could remember. But we're starting off with Abandoned Sanctuaries. Then we're going to Data Scry Salvage, Recover the Relics. And then we got Conversion, and I thought it would be a bit interesting to actually finish on Tides of Conviction.
Yeah. You bad man.
I know, I just hate everyone. Like seeing it.
No, like, but as I'll discuss, having written missions myself, you've simultaneously got my favorite mission and my least favorite mission in there, and then Tides of Conviction just as the proverbial middle finger of 9th edition tournaments. but there's a good vary, which is what I like there. Like you're not just playing the same corner deployment every single time with extra steps. Obviously, I think, seeing as we're seeing off 9th edition, I'll finally say it. I think Data Sky Salvage is probably the best mission from that pack. From what it did to tournaments, and I think always including that's a good decision. And yeah, like why not have the final on Tide of Conviction? Like
yeah. I think it's interesting to have both score 2, score 3, score more missions in there as well. That's going to make players really think about how they play into the games. You know, you start off with a score 1, score 2, then you get then you go into a score 2, score 3, score more, and then the following two, of course, you got Recover the Relics in there, which, you know, arguably a lot of players dislike. So, you know, but that's also a score 1, score 2 with 6 objectives. But then you've got Conversion, which is all in the midfield, score 1, score 2. So you're forcing people to engage rather than sit back in their deployment zones and clink shots. And then Tide of Conviction, is a difficult beast. It is something that is very wacky and weird, and that you can just literally inch out of your deployment zone and get 2 objectives in addition to the one you're holding, but then you've got to try and stop your opponent. So that's the good thing about that mission.
I'm a little disappointed you've given me that mission 5, because by that point I'm probably not going to be thinking well enough to measure it out on the stream, because that is one of my least favorite missions to set together.
You're welcome.
Obviously, while we're on the topic, I think it's important to say, obviously, we're playing 9th edition, and I think that's a really good decision from the Exterminatus crew. 10th just came out, and there's a lot of hype about it, and it's all very exciting, but it came out, officially 2 days ago? So it's probably very nice to see this less as this is the first major tournament of 10th edition where everything's chaos, and more, this is a farewell to 9th.
Yeah.
Like, and one of the things you're going to listen to in a couple of the lists is it really is going to feel like a really nice send-off. Like, it is the last snapshot we're going to get of this meta.
Yeah. 100%.
And look, we were along the same lines, because I don't make the decisions myself. Like, that's why I've got the committee, and we talked about it, and goes in hand with what I was saying before, like just going by our player base, like the different diversity there. Like, we just wanted a nice, fun, relaxing tournament. I would say everyone knows how to play 9th, but knowing some of my players, maybe not. They're getting there.
Having played about 100 games of it myself, I can tell you sometimes it feels like I played 3. So,
But yeah, just gonna like have that nice, relaxing environment instead of like TOs being always on the trot to every table for things people don't understand yet. So
yeah, 100%.
Can we include gambits in 9th edition? Can we do like a last minute they're allowed to play gambits?
Don't put ideas in their heads.
All right, so there's a few things I actually want to pull out of the players pack, just so people are aware what's going on. So by looks, you got 3-hour rounds. That's a big thing. A lot of tournaments you'd see doing either 2.5 to 2 hours 45. Why the choice to go to 3?
Well, like I was saying before, like we just at Exterminatus, we really just want that sort of more relaxed environment. And like, I'm not having a shot at anyone. It's because I'm a slower sin player and I like to talk myself. But at other tournaments, like I get to round 4 or 5 and I just wish I had that extra like half hour or 15 minutes. So, and especially for the people that like come along and they just want to have 2 days of games, you know, not under the absolute crunch. They just want to have a good time, meet new people, roll some dice and have some beers. Yeah.
I was about to say,
nice.
It's very nice to have 3-hour rounds when the responsible service of alcohol is on the option, because you need that little tax towards the end of round 3.
Yeah.
Nice little reward.
And then the other thing that I wanted to note, if I can just find in the players pack, because I've got the players pack up on screen. Here we go. All right. So you guys have got chess clocks, a couple of chess clocks available for players to use if they want to use them. And you've also said that from round 3 onwards, the top 5 tables will be using chess clocks. Can you just kind of explain a bit about why you decided to put that in place?
Yes. So we will be doing it as well as we can, like just being able to source chess clocks. Like I've been very, very out of the loop getting everything organized. So we'll try and have that available, but I'm sure you know this by now, Scotty, but I'm more of a just don't take the mickey sort of guy.
Yeah.
So we'll put that there pretty much to cover if we need the chess clocks, you will be using them. No if buts or maybes. But if there's no problem, then no worries, you know.
Yeah.
So we will have, I think, 5 available from memory, like some from myself and some from the other members as well.
Yep.
But yeah, we just wanted to put that in just so, you know, people are aware. If one person requests it, you will be using it.
Yeah. Which I think is
just that.
I think that's ITC rules standard as well, as once one player asks for it, both players are on it. And I think that a lot of players in the scene should be relatively familiar with that by now. We've had chess clocks for about 2.5 years as being commonplace. So yeah, and I will also add the chess clock. We do have a stream chess clock as well. So I believe
sweet.
we'll do the same. We'll do from round 3 onwards and put players on the clock for those last 3 games.
The other thing I'll note with chess clock play, if you're playing on it and you've never played with them before, don't be too nervous, because most of the time I say to my opponent, like, we're going to use this less as an actual explicit law and more just to make sure we're loosely keeping tabs on each other.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you have to push to the exact minute with your opponent unless like something's a bit fishy. Like, that's fine, but make it comfortable, make it casual. It's mostly just so that we get equal times on both armies.
100%. Don't be intimidated in the slightest. Like I've used them a couple of times myself, and more than often I'm telling the opponent that he's got an extra 40 of my own minutes because I've only got like 2 models left on the board, you know.
And also because you've forgotten to knock the chess clock back for 3 rounds, so it's all like, you know,
So many
it
times.
happens.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
All right, so I reckon let's jump into the meta for the tournament. So we've just thrown that up on screen for everyone in chat. So I'm going to run through this pretty quick, but we do have some extra details in the stream chat that we've got for us 3 to have a look at. So if there's any interesting factions you guys see, feel free to call them out as we go through each of the sections. So first up, we've got Space Marines with a total of 11 players making up 20.3% of the meta. Iron Hands coming in first place there with 4 players running them, 3 Ultramarines, 2 Black Templars, 1 Deathwatch, and 1 Salamander. Again, we've already noted Deathwatch are present. I'm a Deathwatch player. Jack's a Deathwatch player. Love seeing Deathwatch.
If they're not, like, if the person's on, I want to put Deathwatch on screen round 1 because I have hundreds of hours of thoughts about Deathwatch right now.
I'll let Blocker know.
Yeah. Get him prepared because it's probably going to happen.
Then we have got Imperium, which is 16 players of the meta, making up 29.6%. We've got Ash Militarum coming in with 5 players, 4 Adeptus Custodes players, 3 Grey Knights, 3 Imperial Knights, and 1 Adeptus Sororitas. It's a really interesting spread there in terms of the extra Imperium stuff. There's 5 factions to match the 5 Space Marine factions as well.
The few things I'll note that are very interesting in like Imperium, just having a look at it. Obviously, all of the Astra Militarum lists are born soldiers. That makes complete sense. Custodes, on the other hand, only one of them is Emperor's Chosen. The other 3 are Emissaries Imperiatus, which is one that you don't see all the time. So I'm curious to see how that changes the Custodes at Exterminatus, because it's not one I hear a lot of. From memory, it's the Advanced Charge one, or it's the pre-game move one. I can never remember which of the two of them it is, because you just very rarely see it. But it's a new tactic, so watch out for that. Make sure if you're going to go into that, read up on the rules of that, because it's not just going to be Em's Chosen all over the joint.
Yeah. Then we come into Chaos, which has got 10 players in attendance for 18.5%. And just on the Custodes side of things, Provo Custodes just confirmed in a chat that one is fights first and ignores modifiers for you, Jack.
Yeah, that's a scary detachment rule. And I'm pretty sure they've got a pre-game move as their stratagem. So you can expect turn 1 Virtus Praetors in the face or something equivalent like that.
Yeah,
It's a
pre-game
good
move
Saturday
strat.
night,
Yeah. All right. So for Chaos, you got 3 Chaos Demon players, 2 Chaos Space Marine players. Is there 2,000 Suns? I do not believe there were.
I don't think we had any 1,000 Suns.
Yeah, I might have accidentally left that one in there. Ignore that, chat.
Scotty.
Scotty.
I did it dumb. 1 Chaos, just straight Chaos. 1 Chaos Knight and 1 Nurgle Demons as well. So, bit of a change in that split for sure.
The other note is I think the mixed Chaos is a Chaos Knights, Chaos Demons mix.
Yes.
Just for anyone keeping track. So it's artificially 2 Chaos Knights lists, but there is a bit of extra jank from the Demons in there.
Mr. Martin just likes being different.
It's good time for all.
Yeah. Then we come to Eldari, which have got 5 players in attendance for 9.3% of the meta. We've got 1 Asciani, 1 Harlequins, 2 Eldari, and 1 Drakari. So relatively small spread, but if I note down, what was it? You've got Bealtan and Ulthway being present with a Hail of Doom and Far-Flung Eldar Craftworld. So actually the Eldari must be, Asciani must be Eldari as well.
If you'll give me a few minutes on this, I have 2 PSAs with the Eldar. The first is, this is not 10th edition Eldar. You don't have to hurt your opponent. And the second one is, these are actually probably 3 of the 4 old school Eldar detachments. So I'm curious to see what all 3 of them do differently, because whenever you discuss Eldar, it's a real beer and peanuts discussion as to which is the best craft world. And these 3 always come up. Biltan's the underrepresented one, but Biltan's got some amazing tricks. And if this is a Swordwind, like I think it is, that means a lot of aspects.
Yes, it is.
So that's pretty cool. That's a really fun build, so I'm curious to see how that goes. Ulthway is the more consistent one, and Hail of Doom is just the DPS check.
Yep.
So, and then you got 2 Harlequin players by the looks on Twilight, which makes sense. Twilight's the +1 attacks and consolidate extras, so that's a pretty fun one. And then my boys, my Drakari, the mixed real space raid. Is this one of your locals or is this someone else?
Who was that? That was Brody from memory.
Jeremy Brody.
Jez Brody.
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay.
Give me 1 sec.
Yeah. While Dom looks that up, I'll jump into Hive Mind Super Faction, which is your Tyranids and your Gene Stealer cults, which you've got 3 players make up 5.5% of the meta. You've got 2 Tyranids and 1 Gene Stealer cult player. I will make a note that one of those Tyranid players, we're going to be talking about his list coming up shortly, and he is a force to be reckoned with at the moment with this list in 9th edition.
So it's actually Lachlan Edwards. He's one of the lads from Griffith, actually.
Oh, nice.
Really good dude, and he is, like myself, just there for a good time. But he really does like his Drakari.
Excellent. I'll have to have a chat with him about our Lord and Savior Warlord Drazar, because there's, I don't think he's paying his tithes well, but that's all right.
Yeah. Alrighty, then coming to the Xenos Super Faction, you got 9 players in attendance for 16.7% of the meta. 4 Tau Empire players, 4 Necrons, and 1 Orc player in attendance. So, in terms of the Tau, you've got 1 Farsight, 1 Tau Sept, and 1 Vorkan. Okay, I must have miscounted the Tau as well. So,
yeah, 3 Tau, 2 Farsight, 1 Vorkan, I believe.
Cool. So
2 Farsight might be the case.
Yeah.
Again, the 3 Tau factions represented pretty equally. You can play all of them particularly well.
Yeah. Necrons. Now, this is an interesting one. 1 Novok, 1 Mefrit, 1 Nihilak, and 1 Sezrakan.
I love it.
It's not just all Nihilak. Yeah,
I wasn't aware that there were actually choices in the Necron Codex. I don't think I've ever seen something that wasn't, the custom or Nihilak. So
yeah,
I'm curious. Do you guys get extra DLC down in Wagga or something?
Well, that's the thing I really enjoy about it, man. Our community just they take what they like, and then they try to make it work from there. And
Yeah.
if they're like me, it doesn't, but we still have a good time doing it.
Yeah, while we're on the topic quickly, with Nihilak, make Trazyn the Infinite great again, GW. Like, this is the 3rd edition in a row he's been worse than a Necron Lord. It's like, come on.
Yes. 100%
Yeah.
yes. So factions that are missing. So we've already noted Thousand Sons are missing. Nurgle. So Death Guard aren't present. World Leaders. I'm really surprised that World Leaders aren't present, considering how strong they have been. Votan as well. The Space Wolves. I'm not sure. I think everything else has got a pretty good representation. The only other thing that I'm surprised by not seeing, Dark Angels.
Yeah. This will be playing off the balanced starter slate. Keep that in mind. I know
Yeah.
with all the rules coming out over the last 3 months, it's been hard to forget that there was a balanced starter slate just at the end of 9th. So Dark Angels did take a pretty big dip on that. So I'm not amazingly surprised they're not there. Obviously, AdMech aren't there, which is
Big
not
sad.
surprised. Yeah, big sad, honestly. Like, one of the things I think we know through mostly Alex the Greek is that AdMech
Yes.
are actually pretty good towards the end of this edition.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yep.
a bit of a shame no one's riding out on them. Votan
Yeah.
makes sense. The one that I'm surprised at as well is there's only one Orc player.
Yes.
Yep.
Whenever I've been going to events up our way, it seems that they're multiplying every single time we go. So yeah,
He's
one.
sorry, mate.
No, you go.
I was just saying that he's a new lad as well.
Yeah.
And I might have lost yours again.
Nah, you're good.
No,
You're
we're
good.
in loud and clear. And yeah, GSC being there's also pretty fun. Obviously they've got a lot of high-end tournament success, but they're just a really fun faction. So it's always fun to see them floating around at tournaments.
Yeah, so to just note, the Gene Stealer cult is running the Twisted Helix, and then the Orcs are Goths. So the staple take for the Orcs.
Staple take for the Orcs, but not the staple take for GSC. So I'm actually really excited to see someone play proper combat GSC.
Yeah.
Like, the Gunline one is good, and the Gunline one is probably the best version of it, but man, is it fun to hit people with Muscle Beach.
Yeah, for sure. So, Dom, have you still got us, brother? Or are you working out some technical issues? I think you might be working out some tech issues again, ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, looks like it's you and me,
So-
Scotty.
So next up, we're going to look at the faction podium. Now, this was before I had, figured out some miscounts or not double-checked the factions after any list resubmissions. I had done these yesterday afternoon, so that is the other thing. And we got Dom back.
Bloody hell. Sorry about that, Scotty.
It's all good, brother. Technical issues always happen, You can try and account for them as best you can. Sometimes you just can't.
But yeah, what I was saying about the Orc list is new bloke, and we gotta go through his list because I think he's using 9th edition rules without all the points added in and everything like that. So
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so faction podium. First place is Ash Militarum with 5 players in attendance, making it 9.2% of the meta overall on its own. In second place, we've got a tie between Iron Hands, Adeptus Custodes, Necrons, and it was Tau, but because there's only 3 players on Dom's list for them, I'm going to bump them down to the next spot. So 4 players for those ones with 7.4% of the meta. And then in third spot, you've got a tie between Ultramarines, Grey Knights, Chaos Demons, and we'll throw Tau down there, meaning that there is 5.5% for each of those factions in attendance. Across the faction podium, it's approximately, and I'm going to say approximately, 30 players with 55.5% of the meta. So expect that to be around 50-ish% of the meta, with some changes here and there between factions. So it's still good to see that no faction is above 10%. That's something that I actually love seeing at events, is that there, particularly at Exterminatus, there's such a wide variety of armies. People haven't just gone, oh, I'm going to full send on this particular army because it's good. They've gone, as Dom was saying, I'm running what I want to run because I want to run it.
I will throw out the game for everyone though, because do we have any predictions on what might actually take the event army wise?
Oh.
Like particularly coming out the end of 9th, obviously with the balanced starter slate at the end. Because not gonna lie, I see 5 guard players and I'm still terrified.
Yeah.
They did cop a little bit from the balanced starter slate, but still a very lethal army. Obviously.
Yep.
I mean,
I'll agree with that.
I want to put all my money on Death Watch. Like, I don't care. Nothing would make me happier if I was actually going to play at Exterminatus that was coming down with Death Watch. So, you know, he will be my surrogate player for the event.
Me myself, I'm gonna probably go custodies. Yeah. I don't know if it's because they give me the bad touch personally, but I just find them, especially in the hands of really good, experienced players, they are such a tough nut to crack.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of the changes right at the end of 9th, where they unlocked a lot more of their stratagem use all of a sudden. Yeah, they can all of a sudden do the threats of their original like codex self.
Yeah.
So not to be underestimated, especially with ignore all modifiers. Like that army will chew through anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's going to be between either Iron Hands or Tyranids. Because the list we're about
safe
to
as
look
houses,
at...
Scotty.
Yeah, it's
adventurous.
You're putting money on the Canberra champion again, aren't you? It's not Tyranids, it's Rowan you're putting money on, and we all know it.
I mean, he's performed previously, so... But
in all fairness, that was Crush's Stampede. And I know Rowan's a good player, but that army was feral.
Yes, but Tyranids have had some of their data slate changes repealed going into the back end of 9th as well. So they've got some of that strength back with some other tweaks, but they, having the ability to choose their adaptive traits at the start of the game again is still really a strong ability for them rather than having to set that in army construction. Gives them that little bit of versatility in there. And then Iron Hands, I've been playing Iron Hands a little bit recently before I pivoted into Necrons for a bit, and I still think Iron Hands can do it. It just depends on their win path and who they face, and making sure that they pick the right secondaries for the matchup to maximize as many points as possible.
The one thing that I will remind everyone with Space Marines at the end of 9th, again, given the whole change thing, in case people have forgotten, is Space Marine secondaries are still uncouth. Like, they are bananas. So, expect to have to play a secondary race against them. But on a lot of the Hold 2 missions, the Iron Hands might not come out. So, I'm keen to see it.
Yeah.
Ain't no Deathwatch secondaries, though, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I reckon let's jump into some of the lists, gentlemen. Because we got some notables here that I'm really excited to talk about. And funnily enough, first cab off the rank, we spoke about him earlier in the stream, Mr. Adrian Moss, who is running Adeptus Custodes for this one. So I'll run through his list this time, and then we'll kind of alternate it between myself and Jack once he jumps back with us. Which is all good. So me and Dom will run through this one. So Adrian's list he's running, it's called Dreadful. So it's all Dread. So also on stream, you would have seen that I've gone down to where Jack was going to be. Jack's gone down to where Dom is, and Dom's gone to me. So just
big old reshuffle.
Yeah, cause with Jack turning off his camera. But that's all good, ladies and gentlemen. So what Adrian has taken, he is running the Emissaries Imperatus, which is what the one we were just talking about. That's going to be really hard to deal with. He is running a Blade Champion with I believe the Emperor's Heroes for Superior Creation Warlord trait. Classic Trajan Valoris in there, who has to be a Warlord. He's then got Valerian in there as well, which is an interesting choice. You don't really see Valerian too often. So it's good to see him in the list. You then see a squad of 3 Custodian Guard with Guardian Spears and Misericordias. Times that by 2. A unit of Prosecutors in there as well. Actually, I think that's going to be 2 units of 5 Prosecutors.
Yep.
Yeah. You've then got a Contemptor Archulus Dreadnought with the Lastrom Stormbolters. Then another Contemptor 2 Contemptor Archulus Dreadnoughts doing the Lastroms. Then you've got a Venerable Contemptor Dreadnought that is running a Multi-Melter, times that by 2. Then we've got a Velexus Praetor in there with Castellan's Mark and the Vexilla Magnifica, which is always a pretty big staple in Custodes lists. In terms of heavy support, a Cladius Grav Tank with the Twin Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannons, times that by 2 in the list as well. So really spicy. I think that list comes to 1995 points, and you spent 3 CP in there. So, because he spent 2 on HQs, and then 1 for Valerian in there as well to have Fearless Warrior. So, really interesting list. It's a lot of Custodes vehicles. You know, it's got the Dreads in there, which is pretty staple at the minute, at least in 9th edition in terms of Depths Custodes, in my opinion. You've got the Caladius in there, which 2's a pretty staple choice as well if you're not taking stuff like the Virtuous Praetors. Taking those for your heavy-hitting firepower is a good choice, in my opinion as well. But Dom, what are your thoughts on Adrian's list?
Yeah, like I was saying, I think this is going to be like what I come up against, hard to crack, and I think people, giving away the trade secrets here, but got to even the playing field, Adrian, if you're listening. People will look at this and they'll go, not a fast list because there's no bikes. But like what we were talking about before with the pre-game move, Adrian gets first turn. That's one of those Dreadnoughts moving 18 inches up the board.
Yep. Do not underestimate the power of one Custody Dreadnought taking a significant problem on a flank if it can get up the board.
Yes.
Or even any of the gunboats getting into range. Like, that pre-game move strat is nasty if you've never played against it before.
Yep. 100%. Alrighty. So
and he's... Oh, sorry, Scotty. Internet doing his thing. I was just saying, he's also a tried and tested Custodes player as well, so he'll know exactly what he's doing with that list.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, so the next list up we have got is Josh Brody from New South Wales, running Chaos Demons. He's taken Elites as his Arcs of Omen compulsory slot with a Chaos Undivided list. He's got the Bloodthirster that's got Argath, the King of Blades with Brazen Hide, Indomitable Onslaught, so Relic Waller trait in there. He's got the Fate Skimmer with Bolter Change, Infernal Gateway, Retinue of Horrors, Scarbrand, and a Transweaver with Hysterical Frenzy. Then we've also got 1, 2, 3 units of 10 Demonettes, a unit of 3 Nurglings, and a unit of 10 Pink Horrors. The Demonettes and Pink Horrors have got the Demonic Icons and Instruments of Chaos as well. In terms of elites, he's got 2 units of 3 Fiends, 1 unit of 3 Flamers, and 1 unit of 4 Flamers. In fast attack, he's got 2 units of 5 Fleshhounds. And that is the list, starting with 4 CP at 1985 points. So, what do we think of this list, gentlemen?
Brody is a very renowned Demons player. He's a very renowned everything man when it comes to lists, but Demons are his absolute, darlings. So, once again, similar to what we said about the Custodes, he knows this list like the back of his hand. And knows exactly how to play it into a lot of matchups and things. And it's such a toolbox list. That's what I really like about this one. A lot of fast-moving units. Obviously, the Fiends, the Fleshhounds. There's a lot of mobility to it, so don't be surprised if it gets on top of you quick, and even quicker than most conventional Demons lists. The Flamers, as much as they got nerfed, are still really lethal shooting options in an army that doesn't have access to a lot, so they still put out about as much damage. And those hard hitters are hard hitters. Like, Expect to be penned in. Their secondary game is really strong. They do have a couple of matchups that are weak. A lot of it for him is going to be riding and seeing what matchups he gets, because I know I trust him with this list, and it's a really well developed demons list.
Yeah.
Just for me personally, just from a hobby perspective, it reminds me of when I started the demon armies back then. Like the undivided list, he's got representations from every god in there. Like, hats off for it. I like it.
Yeah. Josh Brody's one of those players that he's been playing demons for years now. Like, even though with Creations of Bio last year, he pivoted into them, but he still took demons in his list. Sure, it was the broken 15 flamers.
I don't think that was a cute thematic decision. I think that was if you had sub-faction chaos at that period of time.
Hey, look, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, no. You know, there's nothing more thematic than your pseudo Slanesh Creations of Bile running 15 random flamers.
Yeah. But no, he's been a chaos player for a long time. He knows what he's doing with chaos in general. I would not look past him to potentially see him on the top table.
I'm very disappointed he's not bringing his red Corsairs. Hot off the presses, I hear they weren't painted in time, but very disappointing. Wanted to see those red Corsairs in action before the end of the edition.
Yeah. Alrighty, so next list we are looking at, and this is Lily's list. Lily Lang, who's running Necrons. She is running Mefrit in the Arcs of Omen, taking heavy support as the compulsory slot. So an interesting pivot here. She's got a Canoptic Plasma Sight, 2 Crypto Thralls, an Overlord with Hand of the Pharaon, and the Thrall of the Silent King. Love that combination. What that does, being a Necron player, it increases your aura range to 12 inches from the Waller trait, and then Hand of the Pharaon means you can pick 2 units to give +1 to hit. So it means being able to sit a little bit back, be able to target units 12 inches away with that +1. Really solid, and also increase the aura range on the +1 movement for him as well to 9 inches, which can actually be quite important for the Necrons. A Royal Warden in there with the Veil of Darkness, a Technomancer with the Canoptic Control Node, a brick of 20 Warriors with Gorse Reapers, 2 bricks of 10 with Gorse Flayers, another unit of 2 Crypto Thralls with a brick of 6 Scorpex, a Triarch Stalker in there as well with the Heat Ray, then 3 units of 4 Scarabs, 2 Doomstalkers, then 2 units of 5 Low-Cursed Heavy Destroyers, both 6-man, 5 regular destroyers, and a Low-Cursed Heavy Destroyer in each, with the Gorse Destructors coming in at 2,000 points with 2 CP up the sleeve. This is a spicy Necron list.
So I believe I'll see if I remember my Mefrit knowledge well. Mefrit is an additional, it's extra range and an additional rend at half range. From memory, yep, give it a go. So I think it's +6 or +4 inch range and additional neg 1. And from memory, the strat is 6's auto wound or exploding 6's, or something to do with just pumping out more damage.
All right. So Mefrit is +3 inch range to range weapon except pistols. Each time range attack is made within half range is additional AP of -1, and then it's Protocol of the Vengeful Stars, and then the strat, just to make sure I hit that one as well, is 1 CP until the end of the phase. Unmodified wound roll is 6. Inflict a mortal wound on its target in addition to any normal damage to a max of 3 mortal wounds.
So it's yet more DPS for those destroyer bricks. Now, everyone has destroyer bricks in most Necron lists. This is a lot of destroyers.
Yes.
This is an absolute menace of a list when it comes to just, hello, yes, this is a lot of destroyers and can comfortably knock you off the table if you're not looking forward to it.
Yes.
Hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s innately is a really good trick. You'll probably expect the other unit to get the destroyer strat.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that output can be 2s, rerolling 1s, and then a full reroll brick as well.
Yes.
Nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Veil. all the good stuff you'd expect out of Necrons, and then the Doomstalkers to back up. This is sick.
Yeah.
You don't need OBSEC if your opponent's dead. That's what they don't tell you. That's what they don't tell you in the editions. It's like,
Yeah.
Hot takes. Here we go.
See,
I've been playing Eldar for 6 years. You don't need OBSEC if your opponent's tabled.
Yeah. See,
But,
personally for me... Oh, sorry, you go, Dom.
Oh, you go, Scotty. Yeah.
All right, I was going to say I love the units of 4 Scarabs. I love that. I love, like, 4 or 5 Scarabs in a unit, and you just send them off, and your opponent doesn't worry about them. There's 60 points a unit, so it's 180 points, and you send them out to do your secondaries. It's awesome.
It's the exact same thing you see in Orcs, where like you actually have to stare against playing Orcs and look at 10 Gretchen on an objective and be like, am I about to commit 200 points to killing Gretchen? Yep. It's like, am I going to commit 200 points to go kill 4 Scarabs because I can't trust reanimations? I guess so.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful pesky unit to have in an army like that.
100% agree. 100%.
And Lily is just an Exterminatus veteran at this point. Like, I think this is a 4th or 5th one. She's won a TO award at and she just always comes for a good time. She never gives up in her games, always puts in 10 destroyers. Yep. they'll make me second guess everything I do, and I just love a good, having played Necrons and played against Necrons, a good Veil of Darkness can change the game.
Back in, especially like I used to play Necrons back in 8th edition, and the Veil of Darkness was like your one get out of jail free card against combat armies. And I love how it's always remained the key relic.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm really looking forward to see how it's used. I'm also not gonna lie, there's gonna be games where you just have 4 Scarabs on an objective and people are just gonna think they're OBSEC, because the entire world has been psyoped into believing that everything Necrons is OBSEC. So just remember, these don't all have OBSEC.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. All right. So the next list up we're going to look at is it's going to be Max's Ultramarines list. He is running heavy support as his compulsory choice. He's got a Terminator Librarian with Mighty Heroes, Psychic Fortress, Force Stave, Smite, and Stormbolter. A Primaris Captain that has got the Adept of the Codex. I believe that is a Warlord trait with the Sanctic Halo, which I think is a relic, with the Mastercrafted Auto Bolt Rifle, and then Sergeant Kronos in there.
He loves
Son.
Kronos.
Go,
He will
son.
never leave home without his Kronos.
That's sick. I haven't seen him since like 8th edition. Oh, that's awesome.
He's then got 2 units of 10 intercessors with just bolt rifles. Then you've got a 9-man tactical marine squad with a missile launcher and a 6-man tactical marine squad with a las cannon. I'm surprised it's not a 10 and 5 as well. That's the one thing I'm surprised by. Adept of the Codex is 5+ to get CP back. Thanks, Marcus. Thank you. Really appreciate that from chat.
Sanctic Halo from memory is something like a 2-up save and a 4-up invul, or some extra defense.
In Elites, he's got a 5-man Terminator Assault Squad with 1 pair of Lightning Claws and 4 Thunderhammers and Storm Shields. Then in Heavy Support, double Land Raiders with the 2 Twin Las Cannons and Heavy Bolters. And then double Repulsor Executioners. Yeah.
We call him Maxolian Burmapate for a reason. He loves his big guns.
I was about to say, it was funny when we were talking about this, like while we were getting set up. It's like, I wasn't sure if he submitted a 10th ed list or not. This is sick. This is like, he's just gonna rock up to a 10th ed game and play the exact same stuff. I love it. Like, mad respect for playing Land Raiders at the end of this edition.
Yep. And it's the spicy builds on the repulsors as well. It's the heavy laser destroyers, so tanks are just gonna obliterate. So yeah, it's spicy. I dare say you're looking at you might combat squad the intercessors to go in the repulsors. But yeah, it's just a lot.
Yep.
It's a lot in a list, and I don't think people are going to be prepared to deal with 2 Land Raiders and 2 Repulsor Executioners. Maybe guard players. maybe.
I was about to say they're either going to be very prepared for it or not prepared at all. It's like the fun dynamic of large tanks.
Yeah.
You know, we just came off a list that was 10 Necron destroyers, and I'm very scared for the poor Land Raiders, but that's part of the fun of the edition.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. But yeah, any other thoughts on Max's list?
Knowing Max, look, that's a lot of guns. That's a lot of firepower. And with Max, it'll come down to his movement and his deployment.
Yep.
I haven't seen him play for a little bit now, but if he has sorted those two things out, he could definitely, I think, be top 10 contender
Yeah.
with that list.
I'm just so glad that Sergeant Kronos is going to stick his head out of a Land Raider and all bets are going to be off. Like, that's...
Yep. But
So
also, watch the Land Raider die and him survive.
Well, or even better, like, watch Kronos die instead of a Terminator in the right spot, because it's just better.
Yeah.
It's just like... Sometimes Kronos' job is to stay in, let the ship go down, and let all 5 Terminators get out.
Yep.
Mhm. Yep. 100%. Alrighty, one of the last lists we're coming to, we already spoken about him, Mr. Rowan Kennett from ACT, running the Tyranids, taking Elites as his compulsory slot, and running Kronos with Territorial Instincts as his 5-fleet adaptation. But obviously, as we said, they can swap that now.
Which, for those that don't know, is OBSEC 5 on the big bugs.
Which is pretty important because he's got a lot of big bugs.
I was about to say, if that doesn't give away what the list is, I don't know what will.
Yeah. You've got 3 Tyrant Guard in there, obligatory, no slot choice, and then a Unit 3 Zoanthropes, Neuroparasite, and Symbiostorm. In HQs, he's got a Hive Tyrant with Last Whip, Most Monstrous Bone Sword, Paroxysm, Symbiostorm, and the Horror with the Balethorn Cannon. Interesting choice for the Balethorn instead of going the Shard Gullet.
100%.
Then he's got a Neurothrope in there with Catalyst, Onslaught, Symbiostorm as the Warlord with the Synaptic Tendrils Warlord trait. Staple build for a Neurothrope. Then a Tervagon in there with Adrenal Glands, Massive Scything Talons, Catalyst and Symbiostorm with the Relic of the Maw Claws of Thyrax and Heightened Senses Warlord trait. Again, very, past 6 months you've seen this build for the Tervagon.
That is not a Tervagon. That is Big Mama. That is she. Like, I always used to joke in my Drakari that the Succubus was Mummy. No, the Tervagon is Big Mummy. Like, she will run up a table and plays her own game. It's such a sick build for a Tervagon.
Yep, 100%. Then in Elite, he's got Death Leaper with Alien Cunning Warlord trait, Maliceptor with Neuroparasite, Psychic Scream, and Symbiostorm, a single Pyrovore, a Toxicrene with Dermic Symbiosis, so that's the 4-up invulnerable save, a unit of 3 Venom Thropes, and then in heavy support, an Exocrine with the Synaptic Enhancement, so it's a Synapse creature as well for the Exocrine, and then the Tyrannofex with Acid Spray and Voracious Ammunition in there as well. 2,000 points, spent all of his CP. That's I've seen him playing this list recently, and he has been dominating people.
I played against this list 2 weeks ago on TTS, and let me tell you, I've been tearing people apart with Deathwatch, and the Deathwatch really bit off more than they could chew with this. It's feral. It's such a fun build because it's very similar to what you understand about Tyranids, but it's got a couple of really nice little tech choices in there. I really want to see him play the Toxicrene. He's been talking it up as like, I don't even care, I just want to play the Toxicrene, but it's got some really cool tricks to it. There's a lot of weird combat chicanery you can do with Toxicranes and stuff like that. So, I mean, Rowan, whenever he goes to an event with Nids, is always one to watch. Obviously, one Exterminatus 5 from memory.
Yes.
So, always one to watch, and this list is so much fun to watch, so much fun to play, and a really good time to play against as well, because it is just big bugs go run, and we'll see how it goes.
And Rowan himself is just a gent. to play against.
Exactly.
Really good dude.
Absolutely.
And honestly, he could have put anything into this list, like anything at all, and I would have been like, yep, he knows Tyranids, he'll be a contender.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. 100%. And then, last but not least, we have the spice. The Death Watch list.
I couldn't
blocker.
help myself. I couldn't. I saw Death Watch and I want to see it.
Look, to be fair, I did also want to see it. So when you sent me the message, I was like, yeah, let's just do it.
I know the way to Scotty's heart, and it's by saying Death Watch.
All right, so Blocker is taking the troops as compulsory for the Death Watch. He's taken a company champion with the Dominus Aegis relic. Classic relic. I love that relic for Death Watch. I really do. Unit of two servitors. Is that? No, yeah, that's
probably two 4-man servitor bricks. I assume.
It's 30 points, so I'm pretty sure that's
they're 30 points for 4 servitors.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. No, that is correct.
Yep.
Librarian in Phobos armor with Shroud and Soul Sight in there with the Storm of Fire Warlord trait. Then Primaris Chaplain on bike with Catechism of Fire, Exhortation of Rage with the Absolver Bolt Pistol as a Master of Sanctity with the Litany of Hate as well. The Beacon Angelus as the relic choice.
The essential Deathwatch relic. Like,
Mhm.
don't, again, with Deathwatch, I'll say it now, don't be fooled by Deathwatch. They only move 6 inches, but they move a lot more than 6 inches when they need to.
Yes. Yes, they do. Then a Primaris Librarian with Premorphic Resonance and Fortified with Tempt. A Tech Marine that is the Master of the Forge with a Combi Plasma, and then also having the Vigil Unmatched Warlord trait for Warden of the Ancients, which also...
Which is the Iron Hands Warlord trait from memory.
Yes, which is also Paragon of the Chapter to have Adept of the Omnissiah. So he's doubled up on Warlord traits there, which you can do with a Vigil Unmatched, because Tech Marine is also the Warlord. Then he has taken a Fortis kill team of 5 Intercessors with a Thunderhammer on the Sergeant and 1 Grenade Launcher. 6 Intercessors, I should say. 1 Grenade Launcher in there, Thunderhammer on the Sergeant, and then 4 Outriders. An Indomitor kill team with 4 Aggressors with Flamestorm Gauntlets and 5 Heavy Intercessors with Hellstorm Bolt Rifles, and an Inceptor with just the Assault Bolters with the Aquila kill team upgrade.
that is thick.
That is thick. The Aquila kill team as well gives them, they get to pick another unit to reroll ones against compared to the rest of the army.
Yeah.
So they will hunt out a specialty unit. They can have a 5-up Feel No Pain. They can transhuman. They get all the Gravis strats as well. They can be teleported up the field by a chaplain. So,
which I dare say is going to be a thing because of the Flamestorm Gauntlets.
Yeah, that tends to be how that works.
Yeah. Then a Spectrus kill team with the Dominatus upgrade with 5 Eliminators with bolt rifles, bolt sniper rifles. Then 5 Infiltrators with a Helix Adept in there as well.
Yep.
Then another Spectrus kill team, no upgrade on this one. It's got the 4 Eliminators with Las Fusils, an Incurser with a Haywire Mine, and then 5 Infiltrators with the Helix Adept in there as well. In Elites, 2 Company Veterans, 1 both with Chainswords and Storm Shields. Primaris Apothecary as the Chief Apothecary with Selfless Healer, as you'd expect. Then a Redempted Dreadnought with Plasma, Icarus Rocket Pod, Fragstorm Grenade Launchers. Interesting choice there. Probably some play. An Onslaught Gatling Cannon, and times that by 2. Comes in at 1994 points, 0 CP.
So I'll make an apology post from my wonderful Newcastle Deathwatch Fortress, which is we're a firstborn only watch fortress. So this list does hurt me a little bit because it's Primaris, but still sick. This is, you've got all the librarians in there for all the powers. No captains, which is fascinating because normally that's the expectation. So this is going a very different route, which I like. And yeah, that big brick, those 2 Specularis teams, one of them's going to get rerolls against characters, which is going to be pretty scary with the bolt rifles. Each of those teams knows exactly what it's doing, and it's going to be real fun to make people actually remember what Deathwatch do. Because,
Yes.
spoiler alert, it's been a long time since most people have played against Deathwatch.
Yeah.
So
Deathwatch.
there's a lot of play to them. With the free war gear changes, they become a pretty feral list, and they have arguably the best secondary of Space Marines at the moment, which is Cull Order.
Yep. That change was money for them. Because Cull Order before that, you had to kill everything to get the 5 points. It was actually a really bad secondary. Because
it was all or nothing.
Yeah. Whereas now it's like you kill one unit, you get 3 points. Kill all the units, you get 5. So you just kill one unit, you get 3. 9 points.
It's such a terror as well into some lists. I mean, I have a lot of opinions on Deathwatch. I'm probably going to post something on the channel soon, so look out for that. But yeah, it's a real fun list, and I'm really keen to see how this operates because it's just a whole bunch of moving parts. There's a whole bunch of tricks to it. Be prepared for that kill team, the big Gravis one, to make a 5-inch charge out of Deep Strike and stuff like that. I could be here for 3 hours telling you how this army works, and I still wouldn't get halfway through it. It's sick.
Yeah.
100%. Once
100%.
again, Blocker, he's won sportsmanship at Exterminatus before. He is just, you can't help but laugh and have a great time, even if you might only get to turn 2 because you're too busy having a laugh. It's still a fantastic time.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that is the 6 lists. 5 we were prepared for. The 6th one was thrown at the end.
You guys couldn't help yourselves.
Yeah, look. I'm a simple man. I see Deathwatch and...
Yeah. So, as to wrap up before we do any other shout-outs, Dom, do you have any shout-outs that you'd like to do for the weekend?
Yeah, so Ronin Games in Canberra, down in Woden, they're sponsoring us this year. And talking to Oliver down there, like just the range of hobby supplies there, it just tickles me. It's so good. So you'll be able to get vouchers for their playing. Rules Club for hosting us again on the weekend. Also, I want to shout out Benny Lang as well for last minute getting the call up for doing the trophies for us. And also just my committee and the players, like without you guys, it doesn't happen. So very grateful for all of you and everyone that buys tickets in the raffle as well.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, as we did say at the start of the stream, Jack is going to be down at the tournament covering it live on the weekend. I believe round 1 starts at 8:45 a.m. both days, from memory in the pack.
Yes, yep. TA brief at 8:30 and then kick off at 8:45 because I like to ramble a bit.
Yeah.
That's good for me because stream normally starts at 9:30, even when it starts at 8:45. Sometimes my sleep schedule at the moment. So ramble as much as you need, please.
So yeah, we should have the stream up relatively on time, hopefully, for round 1.
That's a joke. Nice. Don't worry, the stream will be up at 8:45.
Yeah, so it'll be great to have you guys join us. Jack will be there on site. So if you're there, make sure to say g'day to him. We'll have the ATWN objective markers on the stream for this one as well. And we might even have a set there in person if you do want to pick one up as well. So, getting to that side of things. Sorry, you go.
The other quick thing I will announce is it's become a bit of a running joke with the stream and the stream setup. We've got a new overhead stand.
Yes. Which
is going to be very exciting. So hopefully the whole bumping the table thing will be resolved. If you manage to bump this one, you will be buying me beers. that is my rule.
I'll make a last minute addendum to the players pack.
If you could shove that in the players pack, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. But yeah, so tune in for that on the weekend. It's going to be absolutely awesome. One of the final, as we've said, one of the final 9th edition tournaments of the year. If you do enjoy the content we do create here at the ATWN, make sure you're following us on Twitch, or any of our other socials, which I'm going to throw up in chat now. But it's going to be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Make sure to support us all there. We're going to be doing a bunch of 10th edition content. I know Jack's got some stuff planned. I've got a bunch of how to play stuff planned for 10th edition as well to get you guys up and running, to be able to understand the changes of the game, whether you're a veteran, or to walk you through if you're a new player, as well as a whole bunch of tournaments towards the back end of the year. And if you do want to support us financially, again, no pressure to do so, can sub here on Twitch. However, I will note that Twitch does take 50% of the sub revenue, so you can also support us over on our Ko-Fi page, where we get 95% of that revenue that you guys support us with, whether that's a monthly membership for as little as $1 a week, or you can purchase some ATWN objective markers, some ScottyD 49 dice. There's a bunch of stuff, or you can give a one-off donation as well, completely up to you. But gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for taking your time out on your Monday night to come and do this stream and hang out with those in chat as well.
Not a problem.
Thanks for having us, Scotty.
No
You're
worries.
lucky I turned up. I don't know what day of the week it is at the moment.
Well, it's also a quick shout out to the hamster Wi-Fi network of Wagga Wagga. Apparently, they held out. We got there.
I'm in Canberra. It's just I'm not a tech guru.
I say. There you go.
But yeah, it's awesome to have you guys on, and it was great to do another tournament preview for one of the last events of 9th edition. Hope everyone has a great rest of the week. I'll be back on Wednesday night with a hobby stream. If you're not there, then hope to see you over the weekend in the chat with Jack on commentary, with our guest commentator hopefully joining us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.